So I've got this segment from a guy named Quiver Quant on YouTube.
Quiver Quant?
Quiver Quant. So
Okay.
Quiver Quantitative. So a quant
Quiver
is
Quantitative.
someone who does more of the stock analysis.
Good with those numbers.
Yeah, good with those numbers for sure. So this is going to be pretty finance heavy. Do you remember a while ago when we talked about Nancy Pelosi and her husband consistently outperforming the stock market?
Yes, we
So
did.
that was pretty funny. So the main reason is that in Congress, they're fully allowed to buy and sell stocks and only have to declare these trades within 45 days of making the trade.
Goodness.
That's less control than I have when buying a US stock, which is really funny. So for my own job, I have
Yes.
to declare it in advance
You do.
and then get permission.
That's
So if that sounds bad, it gets worse. They can buy and sell stocks that they're on the committee for overseeing. So whether they're about to give a huge government contract to a company or whether they're about to bring the business's CEO in front of Congress for an antitrust lawsuit, they can buy and sell the stock. So a couple of things. First of all, Quiver Quant has its own website, which is really cool. So this is a cool site that I've found.
It's on the screen right now.
If you're planning to do any trading at all, it's not a bad one to check out.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. So basically, this guy tracks the trades of. You can look at different kind of segments and categories,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he tracks the trades of corporate insiders, Wall Street bets, corporate Twitter,
Oh.
Jim Cramer, the Mad Money guy from CNBC,
yeah.
Wikipedia page views, cryptos, specs, Amazon pricing of the product,
Oh.
and hedge funds and institutional traders,
Yeah.
and of course Congress members. So there's a couple of really interesting trades as well that you can trackers, that you can look at.
And he's tracking these people's trades or their sentiment and their comments and...
He's tracking the specific trades and putting them into a portfolio, and then showing you the returns on that portfolio.
How can you say that he's tracking Wall Street Bets trades?
Well, because he'll find... So basically, all of these trades that are listed on Reddit, right?
Yeah.
People will list them and people will upvote them.
Okay.
And he's putting together a portfolio of the trades that are
most upvoted.
that are
or
the most
something.
up. They must
Okay.
meet some certain criteria.
Okay.
And then that's the Wall Street Bets
Right.
portfolio.
Right.
Which I think was up 7% in the last week, which is really interesting. So
Right.
it's
Wow.
it's the
This is cool.
yeah, so it's really sick.
Okay.
So he'll
Obviously, for the Kramer one, he just buys the opposite of what he says, right?
yeah, so inverse Kramer. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
interesting thing. So I'm glad you caught on to that one.
Yeah.
So if for those of you who don't know, Jim Cramer is this crazy Mad Money guy that makes a lot of noise and
Yeah. He's got a lot of buttons. Got a lot of... What are they called?
Yeah,
Frickin'
yeah.
Buzzer things.
yeah, buzzer things and
Yeah.
soundboards. So
Soundboards.
he's got really cool trackers. So he'll show he can see port congestion for different ports, corporate flights, and campaign donations. Those are just a few
Yeah.
of the trackers
Yep.
that you can kind of look at. And so one thing I found was really interesting. You can look at Shanghai port versus LA port, and you can see way more congestion in the LA port at the moment than
Yeah.
Shanghai.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And a lot of that would be maybe some of the union action that's going on. But really interesting to look at and see over the months where the graph has dipped in number of days that the ship has been.
Did you have
stuck
to
there.
subscribe to see all this?
So you have to subscribe to see some of the stuff.
Okay. And it was still free to
but-
subscribe?
It was free to subscribe. Sorry, there's like free tiers and paid tiers and stuff like
okay,
that.
okay.
And so I did get caught up at one point, but it seemed pretty cool for the first couple of things. And then obviously, if you like it, you're making money from it anyway. If you're going to use it, so it would be a positive return on investment. I think.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, exactly. And
You
so
got to spend money to make money, right?
exactly. And so they've also got strategies, which is really cool. And so one of the strategies was government contract recipients. So basically they'll buy when a new government contract is announced. And so that's grown 1,190% since March 2009, which
These
is
are
really
only
interesting.
public companies.
Yeah, they're public companies that
Wow.
are government contract
Recipient of
recipients,
government contracts.
which is really cool.
Wow.
And so there's that strategy. There's the inverse Kramer strategy, which has gone up 50% since inception, which was really funny.
That is funny.
And so, as an example of one of the trades, so here's one from the 21st of January. So this is where the Biden administration committed $55 billion in investment into the African continent. So this is really interesting. This has happened recently. So in January, there were lawmakers that were buying up huge amounts of a company called AMT, which is American Tower Corp.
Okay.
Right? And so he's noticed this trend. And so this company owns mobile phone towers across the globe and leases them to network providers. So one of the priorities that Biden was putting in was more internet access and network towers in Africa.
Yep.
So AMT already have 22,000 cell towers in Africa, and so there's a strong chance of winning the contract to build there.
Totally.
And I think potentially a lot of the lawmakers know who's going to win the contract there, which is why they're buying the stock. So yeah, I mean, I thought that was a really interesting
That is really cool.
trade, and I thought
interesting.
it's really funny that a lot of the kind of lawmakers are literally allowed to just buy that, which is it's crazy. But
That is crazy.
if you want to make money alongside them, it seems like an interesting trade. So
Yeah.
let's just say you don't want to remember to trade. You
No.
aren't watching all of those
You've
trades.
got other things to do.
Yeah, you're not watching Congress all the time,
No.
and you don't really know what's going on all the time.
No idea.
But you do still think that the moves that Congress makes,
Yep.
They're going to outperform the market,
Conceptually makes a lot of sense.
and they know the insider info.
Yep.
They generally outperform Wall Street just because they literally are working on the deals
Yep.
that they're also doing.
Yep.
Well, that'll soon be possible. So Subversive Capital, which is the name of the firm, filed an N1A form, which was to establish 2 ETFs that will allow you to trade Congress trades. And so what this is, there's one ETF that'll follow how the Democrats trade and one ETF that'll follow how the Republicans trade.
Really?
And so, yeah, it's really
What
funny.
the heck?
And so you'll be able to follow those Republican members of Congress and Senate.
And
So
obviously, just quick clarification: ETF, just bundle of stocks that represents what's actually happening within that particular, portfolio of companies that you're talking about.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
So
wow.
you'll be able to buy.
And you
the
can buy
bundle of
some
stocks.
units in those.
Yeah,
in that
you'll
bundle.
be able to buy a unit.
Yeah.
So soon you'll be able to buy NANC, which is named after the Democrat Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, or
Oh,
KRUZ,
What?
which is named after Senator Ted Cruz.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's bizarre.
yeah. So that's the ticker of the
Yeah.
yeah. So they've named it
Are
after.
these listed on a particular exchange?
Yeah. So they will be listed, probably the NYSE or the Nasdaq,
Okay.
and then yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
The two that it can be.
Probably just
listed on.
one of the two.
Yeah. Well, I saw an announcement from Nasdaq about it, so it could be on the Nasdaq.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's that.